Berat is a city and a municipality located in south-central Albania, and the capital of the county of Berat. In July 2008, the old town was inscribed on the UNESCO World Heritage List. The municipality was formed at the 2015 local government reform by the merger of the former municipalities Berat, Otllak, Roshnik, Sinjë and Velabisht that became municipal units. The seat of the municipality is the city Berat. The total population is 60,031, in a total area of 379.98 square kilometers. The population of the former municipality at the 2011 census was 32,606. Name. The name of the city in Albanian is Berat or Berati, which is probably derived from the Old Bulgarian or Belgrade, under which name it was known in Greek, Bulgarian, Latin and Slavic documents during the High and Late Middle Ages. The name was rendered as Belagrada in Greek. It is believed to have been the site of an ancient Macedonian stronghold, Antipithrea or Antipithrea in Latin. While during the early Byzantine Empire the name of the town was Pulcheriopolis. In the Republic of Venice the city was known as Belgrade di Romania, while in the Ottoman Empire it was also known as Belgrade i Arnavud to distinguish it from Belgrade. Geography. Berat lies on the right bank of the river Osum, a short distance from the point where it is joined by the Molisht River. The old city centre consists of three parts: Klahar, Mangalam and Gorica. It has a wealth of beautiful buildings of high architectural and historical interest. The pine forests above the city, on the slopes of the towering Tomor Mountains, provide a backdrop of appropriate grandeur. The Osumi River has cut a 915-meter deep gorge through the limestone rock on the west side of the valley to form a precipitous natural fortress, around which the town was built on several river terraces. According to an Albanian legend, the Tomor Mountain was originally a giant, who fought with another giant, called Spirag, over a young woman. They killed each other and the girl drowned in her tears, which then became the Osum River. Mount Spirag, named after the second giant, is on the left bank of the gorge, above the district of Gorica. Berat is known to Albanians as the city of one above another windows, or the city of 2,000 steps. It was proclaimed a museum city by the dictator Enver Hoxha in June 1961. History. Ancient. The earliest recorded inhabitants of the city were the Greek tribe of the Dacertae, the northernmost subgroup of the Chaonians, and the region was known as Deseratis after them. Modern Berat occupies the site of Antipithrea, which originally was a settlement of the Dacertae and later a Macedonian stronghold in southern Illyria. The founding date is unknown. Although if Cassander is the founder, it has been suggested that Antipithrea was founded after he took control of the region around 314 BC. In 200 BC it was captured by the Roman legatus Lucius Apicius, who razed the walls and massacred the male population of the city. Medieval. The town became part of the unstable frontier of the Byzantine Empire following the fall of the Roman Empire and, along with much of the rest of the Balkan Peninsula, it suffered from repeated invasions by Slavists during the Roman and early Byzantine period. The city was known as Pulcheriopolis. The First Bulgarian Empire under Presian I captured the town in the 9th century, and the city received the Slavic name Belgrade, Belagrada in Greek, which persisted throughout the medieval period, changing to Berat under Ottoman rule. The town became one of the most important towns in the Bulgarian region Kut-Mitrovica. The Bulgarian governor Elime surrendered the city to the Emperor Basil II in 1018, and the city remained in Byzantine hands until the Second Bulgarian Empire retook the city in 1203 during the rule of Kaloyan. During the 13th century, it fell to Michael I Doukas, the ruler of the Despotate of Epirus. Byzantine Emperor Michael VIII Palaiologos sent letters to the Albanian leaders of Berat and Durrës in 1272 asking them to abandon their alliance with Charles I of Naples, leader of the Kingdom of Albania, who had captured and incorporated it at the same period in the Kingdom of Albania. However, they sent the letters to Charles as a sign of their loyalty. In 1274 Michael VIII recaptured Berat, and after being joined by Albanians who supported the Byzantine Empire, marched unsuccessfully against the Angevin capital of Durrës. In 1280–1281 the Sicilian forces under Hugh the Red of Sully laid siege to Berat. In March 1281 a relief force from Constantinople under the command of Michael Tarquiniotes was able to drive off the besieging Sicilian army. Later in the 13th century Berat again fell under the control of the Byzantine Empire. In 1335 Albanians from Epirus Nova invaded the area of Berat and appeared in Epirus for the first time, while in 1345 the town passed to the Serbian Empire. After its dissolution in 1355 Berat came under suzerainty of its former governor John Komnenos Asen, Alexander Komnenos Asen and Zita of Balsa II. In 1385 Berat was captured by the Ottomans, before the Battle of Savra. According to some sources, the Ottomans probably remained in Berat for some time with intention to use it as foothold to capture Valona. By 1396 Muzaka family took over control of Berat, which became the capital of the Principality of Berat. In 1417 Berat became a part of the Ottoman Empire. In 1455 Skanderbeg unsuccessfully tried to capture the city. Modern during the 18th century Berat was one of the most important Albanian cities of the Ottoman Empire. In the early modern era the city was the capital of the Pashalik of Berat, founded by Ahmet Kurt Pasha. Berat was incorporated in the Pashalik of Yanina after Ibrahim Pasha of Berat was defeated by Ali Pasha in 1809. In 1867, Berat became a sanjak in Yanina Vilayet. During the early period of Ottoman rule, Berat fell into a severe decline. By the end of the 16th century it had only 710 houses. However, it began to recover by the 17th century and became a major craft center specializing in wood carving. During the 19th century, Berat played an important part in the Albanian national revival. A Greek school was operating in the city already from 1835. It became a major base of support for the League of Prizren, the late 19th century Albanian nationalist alliance, while the city was also represented in the formation of southern branch of the League in Gjirokastër. From 23 to the 30th of October 1944, the second session of the Council of National Liberation of Albania was held in Berat, where the National Liberation Movement controlled anti-fascist National Liberation Committee became the Provisional Democratic Government of Albania, with Enver Hoxha as its Prime Minister and Minister of Defense. Economy. By the 18th century the economy and society of Berat was closely connected to the city's craft guilds, partly related to various tax exemptions that existed since the late Middle Ages. By 1750 there were 22 guilds, the most important of which were the tanners, the cobblers and other leather-working guilds. Other guilds included metalworking, silversmithing and silk-making ones. Landmarks. The coexistence of religious and cultural communities over several several centuries, beginning in the 4th century BC into the 18th century, is apparent in Berat. The town also bears testimony to the architectural excellence of traditional Balkan housing construction, which date to the late 18th and the 19th centuries. Some of the landmarks of that historical period could be seen in the Berat castle. Churches of the Byzantine era, such as the Church of St. Mary of Blaena, the Bachelor's Mosque, the National Ethnographic Museum, the Sultan's Mosque, Leaden Mosque, and the Gorica Bridge. Berat Castle is built on a rocky hill on the right bank of the river Osum and is accessible only from the south. After being burned down by the Romans in 200 BC, the walls were strengthened in the 5th century under Byzantine Emperor Theodosius II, and were rebuilt during the 6th century under the Emperor Justinian I, and again in the 13th century under the despot of Epirus, Michael Komnenos Doukas, cousin of the Byzantine Emperor. The main entrance, on the north side, is defended by a fortified courtyard, and there are 3 smaller entrances. The fortress of Berat in its present state, even though considerably damaged, remains a magnificent sight. The surface that it encompasses made it possible to house a considerable portion of the town's inhabitants. The buildings inside the fortress were built during the 13th century, and because of the characteristic architecture are preserved as cultural monuments. The population of the fortress was Christian, and it had about 20 churches and only 1 mosque for the use of the Muslim garrison. The churches of the fortress have been damaged through the years, and only some remain. The Church of St. Mary of Blackney, dating from the 13th century, has 16th-century mural paintings by Nicol Onufri, son of the most important post-medieval Albanian painter Onufri. In a small tree planted square on a hillside inside the walls of the fortress stands the 14th-century Church of the Holy Trinity. It is built in the form of a cross and has Byzantine murals. Outside the ramparts is the Church of St. Michael, built in the 13th century. This church is reached by a steep but perfectly safe path. Near the entrance, after a guardhouse, is the little Church of St. Theodore, which have wall paintings by Onufri himself. The most interesting is the Cathedral of St. Nicholas, which has been well restored and is now a museum dedicated to Onufri. Onufri was the greatest of the 16th-century painters in Albania. Not only was he a master of the techniques of fresco and icons, but he was the first to introduce a new color in painting, shiny red, which the French called Onufri's red. In addition, Onufri introduced a certain realism and a degree of individuality in facial expression. The first inscription recording Onufri's name was found in 1951, in the Shelkan Church. The Kastoria Church has a date the 23rd of July 1547 and a reference to Onufri's origin. I am Onufri, and come from the town of Berat. Onufri's style in painting was inherited by his son, Nicola, though not so successful as his father. In Onufri's museum can be found works of Onufri, his son, Nicola, and other painters. There are also numbers of icons and some fine examples of religious silversmith's work. Berat Gospels, which date from the 4th century, are copies. The church itself has a magnificent iconostasis of carved wood, with 2 very fine icons of Christ and the Virgin Mary. The bishop's throne and the pulpit are also of considerable quality. Near the street running down from the fortress is the Bachelor's Mosque, built in 1827. This has a handsome portico and an interesting external decoration of flowers, plants, houses, etc. The bachelors were the young shop assistants, whom the merchants in Berat used as their own private militia. The King Mosque, the oldest in the town, built in the reign of Bayazid II, is notable for its fine ceiling. The Lead Mosque, built in 1555, and so called from the covering of its cupola, This mosque is the center of the town. The Havti Tekke is thought to have been built in the 15th century. It was rebuilt by Ahmet Kurt Pasha in 1782. It belongs to the Khalwati Sufi order. It is composed of the prayer hall with a square plan, a small ambience for special religious services and a gracious portico in front of the entrance to the prayer hall. In the prayer hall is a mahfal carved in wood and decorated. On the eastern side of the prayer hall is the mihrab decorated with stone stalactites. The inner walls have been decorated with 8 frescoes depicting dwelling houses, Muslim religious buildings and landscapes. The walls below the frescoes are covered by holes that improve the acoustics in the prayer hall. The ceiling of the prayer hall is made of wood and is decorated with paintings valued as the most beautiful of the time. The ceiling has been decorated in the Baroque style adopted in Islamic art and is covered with 14-karat gold plates. The inner decorations were carried out by Master Dushbaka. Attached to the prayer hall is a room in which once was the mausoleum of Ahmet Kurt Pasha and his son. The portico of the Tekke has 5 stone columns which were taken from the ancient Greek city of Apollonia. Above the main door in the portico is an inscription dedicated to the values of the Tekke and to Ahmet Kurt Pasha. Near of Tekke is purported to be the grave of Shabatay Zevi, a Turkish Jew who had been banished to Dulcinea, who created controversy among his followers upon his conversion to Islam. Besides, the town is still renowned for its historic architecture and scenic beauty and is known as the Town of 1,000 Windows, due to the many large windows of the old decorated houses overlooking the town. It is unclear whether it really means 1,000 or one over another windows. Indeed, the quarter is built in a very steep place and windows seem to be one over another. Similar views can be seen in Melnik, Bulgaria, Gjirokasta in Albania, as well as Catanzaro in Italy, where an Albanian minority once lived. The citadel overlooks the river and the modern city, as well as the old Christian quarter across the river. It is a well-preserved area containing narrow streets, Turkish houses and Orthodox churches. Modern Berat consists of 3 parts divided by the Osum River, Goroka, Mangalam and Kalahar, the latter being a residential quarter within the old Byzantine citadel that overlooks the town. The town also has a 15th-century mosque and a number of churches of the Albanian Orthodox Church, whose autocephaly was proclaimed there in 1922. Several of the church's house works by the renowned 16th-century painter Onufri. Berat National Ethnographic Museum opened in 1979. It contains a diversity of everyday objects from throughout Berat's history. The museum contains non-movable furniture which hold a number of household objects, wooden case, wall closets, as well as chimneys and a well. Near the well is an olive press, wool press and many large ceramic dishes, revealing a glimpse of the historical domestic culture of Berat's citizens. The ground floor has a hall with a model of a medieval street with traditional shops on both sides. On the second floor is an archive, loom, village sitting room, kitchen and sitting room. Goroka Bridge, which connects 2 parts of Berat, was originally built from wood in 1780 and was rebuilt with stone in the 1920s. The 7-arch bridge is 129 meters long and 5.3 meters wide and is built about 10 meters above the average water level. According to local legend, the original wooden bridge contained a dungeon in which a girl would be incarcerated and starved to appease the spirits responsible for the safety of the bridge. Education. Albanian University in Berat is a private institution, independent and secular higher education, which operates the state fee, licensed by the Council of Ministers No. 697 dated 18 June 2009. He opened the doors in the academic year 2009-2010, offering programs in 2 faculties: Faculty of Social Sciences programs in science teaching, legal, political science and psychology, general administration, and the Faculty of Economics with learning programs in banking and finance, business administration. During the first academic year, about 1,000 students attended studies. A year later, this new institution offering undergraduate degrees in study programs: preschool teacher education, primary education teacher, English language, nursing, engineering, computer and information technology, thus finalizing the 2010-2011 academic year with the opening of 2 new faculties: Faculty of Medical Sciences and the Faculty of Architecture and Ingenierie. Academic year 2010-2011 finds the University Berat with about 2,600 students in the first cycle of study. Since the first year of its inception, the institution pointed at the center of academic life, the promotion of intellectual product and melting learning and research. Through presentations, research and exchange, the university directs and encourages the identification and development of projects that will once again consolidate its primary purpose: scientific development and research toward better quality. Climate. Berat experiences a Mediterranean climate. Due to its location in a rain shadow of Mount Omor, the summer in Berat is much warmer than the rest of Mediterranean. Berat is the hottest city in Albania. Twin towns. Sister cities: Lovech, Bulgaria; Ploiești, Romania; Carmel, Israel; Berat, France. Notable people: Berat Carbonara, signatory of the Albanian Declaration of Independence; Tak Tutulani, signatory of the Albanian Declaration of Independence; Ilyas Vrioni, signatory of the Albanian Declaration of Independence, 3 times Prime Minister of Albania; Sotir Kolia, folklorist and activist of the Albanian National Awakening; Sami Vrioni, politician; Namik Risuli, academic and linguist; Viki Buharaja, translator, poet, linguist. Sports. The football club is KS Tomori Berat.